Mate, Game of Thrones is fucking over. What the fuck? What do we do?
Well, that's it for First Reactions podcast.
It's the First Reaction podcast. First Reactions podcast.
That's the intro.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the First Reactions podcast. I nearly said, welcome back to the 5-star podcast.
Welcome back to we've got a rebrand.
It's basically become the title of our podcast because we say it so much.
We are the only 5-star podcast on Apple Podcasts.
The only. We pretty much, all we need to say now is the only.
The only.
And everyone that watches will know what that means.
If someone finds the podcast for the first time, though, they just
Welcome back to
listen,
First Reactions, the only.
and
So
we move
today...
on.
Okay, so the last couple of episodes we've been doing new segments, and I want to carry on doing that, but obviously Game of Thrones, I think, surpasses any news that we could possibly talk about. So there is...
It is the news.
Literally,
and
like,
the episode.
There is 3 things that I do want to talk about as news that we
Okay.
will save till afterwards. If you
All
don't
right.
like Game of Thrones, just click the time code that's in the
Time code in
description
the description.
or in the comments for YouTube. So let's just jump into it. We both went for the same meme. First of all, how do you, like, without going into the episode, how do you just feel about, like, it being over? That's it. No
Yeah,
more Game of Thrones.
Don't know how I feel about
A Song of
that
Ice and Fire is done.
episode in general, and just it being over. I don't know. I don't think it's fully hit me yet. It will do.
It is fully hit me. I remember because I watched it like
Yeah, you watched
when
it
it
last
was
night, didn't you?
When it was live, so 2:00 for us, 2:00 in the morning, and I was knackered because we'd done a 10K run. For the video podcast, I'll probably put up some pictures and videos of us.
We had some nice fancy dress.
Yes, I was a prisoner. I was running away from my friend Jamie, who's
was
been
a
on the
sheriff.
podcast before. He was a sheriff. You were a cheerleader. We cheers to that.
We do. And my cheerleader outfit actually said cheers on it. So everyone cheers to me.
Yeah, they'd like shout us out because it said our names and stuff, and they were shouting out, "Cheers, well done, cheers,
Because
keep
it
going."
said cheers there.
He
Just
thought
is
they
my
thought it
name,
was his
isn't it?
name.
Just is my name. But I watched it this morning with my girlfriend before she went to work. And then I went straight back to sleep because I was still so tired from the run.
Yeah.
So I've only been awake for like an hour or so since that. So my brain is still kind of processing it myself.
Yeah. I felt like I needed to go to sleep to process
Yeah.
it. Like I was watching it with my mate Curtis, and we were both just like gobsmacked.
Really?
Literally, there was. I mean, I'll talk about that when we get onto the episode. So let's actually get onto it. That's like. I don't know how to process Game of Thrones being over.
Yeah.
I can process just the episode in general. So I think we've got things we can talk about, but just I think we need to do a whole other episode on the whole of every single storyline of every season and be like, why didn't that tie up, or like what happened
you know
here,
how
and
we did-
how we felt things were good and stuff like that.
We did one marvelous scene for the Marvel thing. People have started doing that for Game of Thrones
Yes,
as well.
Nando Movies, the guy that started it,
Yeah.
he did a really good scene for Game of Thrones. So
I've
definitely
not watched any of them yet though. But
Neither
I
have
will do.
Yes, I think we should do a similar thing for that as well. How do you feel just in general about this episode? Not like the season as a whole.
Yeah.
So, obviously, I feel like there's some storylines that haven't gone the way we wanted in the whole season. But
Just this episode.
just this episode, I thought the first half was a really good wrap-up to the storylines that they'd created.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I liked the storylines that they necessarily
very good
went
wrap-up for what they
but
went
what
for.
they were going for, they did it really, really well.
There wasn't much talking in the first few main scenes as well.
Yeah, I literally thought I'd because I was streaming it from my laptop, I thought I'd put it on mute, and I was desperately pressing the volume button to make it go up. I was really worried, and Curtis turned to me, he was like, "Is everything working?"
Really?
And then we heard a couple of footsteps, and we were like, "Fuck, it is. It's just that silent."
Yeah.
Literally, I was like,
But they still managed
Breathless.
to get all the emotion through not having any words,
"It's."
which is pretty cool, I think.
I love when media does that. Wall-E did that. There was basically no talking for the first half an hour, I think, of
Really?
that movie or something stupid, and it was insane.
The Disney
it
movie
made you
about the
cry.
robot.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite movies just for that fact. It's a great movie anyway, but
Yeah, I think I've only seen it once,
Really?
Yeah.
You need to watch
Watch
that,
it
mate. It is a decent movie. It's one of the best Disney movies, I think. Definitely one of the best Pixar. But that's not about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Got a bit of a tangent about Wall-E in the middle of a Game of Thrones review.
Tinfoil hat theory that we'd do, and Wall-E would just appear in Game of Thrones.
Imagine Wall-E's
Iron
helping.
Throne turns into Wall-E.
You know, he's like the only robot that's left alive, so he's just like getting rid of all the rubbish and putting it into boxes. He's doing that, but with the dead bodies from the Red Keep. He's just putting them in boxes and putting them away.
God's sake.
Someone needs to do like fan art of that. That would be disgusting. Okay, we really need to actually talk about it because there's a lot to talk about. I think just like last episode, we need to address a particular thing. And again, just like last episode, I haven't prepared it. So this is me stalling.
Finding it.
As I'm trying to find the correct thing.
For the
an audio file for the audio people. And here we are.
People be deaded.
Where did that come from?
I don't know, 'cause I was doing a gun sign for the shooting noise, and then it just went full gang.
For the audio people, he did a gun sign.
For the full audio people.
For the full, as opposed to the half.
Full experience. People be dead.
So people be dead. I think there's just one major one. Daenerys.
Daenerys Targaryen.
Did anyone else actually die?
I don't think so.
Well, anyway, Daenerys. Oh my god. I literally, like, when Jon was holding her, I said out loud to Curtis, I was like, stabby, stabby.
Really?
Like, I was thinking, he's probably going to, that would be what I think's happening, because why else would he say that he loves her?
Yeah.
And then he did stab her.
Well, I must be an idiot, because I genuinely thought that he was just sticking to his, like, stubborn ways of actually loving her. And
I'm really glad that he...
No, Jon, why?
Yeah, I'm so glad that he didn't.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about him killing her?
I knew it was going to happen, which I don't know if that changes my thought on it, but I think that's the only way it could have really happened. That's the best way.
Yeah.
It has to be Jon.
I think it was the only way it could have happened, like we said, in this storyline.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I think from the start of season 8 looking forward, there was so many different things that could have happened, but in this episode,
the way that they've done it, to wrap it up, the best way happened.
Did you think? Well, I know we're talking people be deaded, but it's just made me think of Tyrion and that first scene where he throws the hand of the Queen of the Hand badge down, and everyone's like,
I thought that was cool.
That for me. Like, I've not liked a lot of what's happened to Tyrion's writing for all of this season.
Yeah.
That was one of the best Tyrion scenes
I think so too.
Ever. Not even, like, of this season. Definitely the best of this season.
He was really good in this episode.
So
overall.
Good. Mm-hmm. When he found...
that was the very first scene where he was walking through the ashes.
Yeah.
And then he goes down to see if Jaime and Cersei actually escaped. And then he sees the golden hand in the rubble. And he rummages through and reveals their faces. And that was one of the scenes without any speaking, but you could feel the emotion straight off.
He grabbed one of the bricks, and then he threw it down. And then, because I was a bit drunk, I was like, did he just throw it at
the face?
I thought he was just, like, beating them up with a brick. So I thought that was a night that made me appreciate both of their deaths more, Cersei and Jaime.
Yeah,
I really didn't like their death in the last episode, but to have the payoff of Tyrion, but seeing both of them and being upset and realizing he's the last Lannister is that was a good way to wrap that up, I guess. But
no, I really like that scene.
Yeah, really good scene. Tyrion fucking killing it. Obviously, Peter Dinklage, fucking legend. I think he's done the best that he could have done with all of the writing that he's been given in his character development stuff. He's
brilliantly
so good. Big up to the little
man.
Big
up. We cheers
to you if you're watching, Peter.
And Peter. P. Tyrion.
P. Tyrion. I give you permission. You may P.
But no, Dany was their only actual death, I think. But metaphorically, after Dany died, the Iron Throne technically died as well,
and
for at least a little bit,
and literally,
and figuratively, and
seriously,
and literally, and that was the title of the episode as well. It's called The Iron Throne.
Oh, really? That makes sense.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be called something like A Dream of Spring or something, I don't know, poetic or open-ended, but it's just The Iron Throne. And that was their marketing thing before the season as well, for the throne.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Throne, and it got destroyed.
Yeah, I did think when I was started to watch the episode, Curtis asked, who do you think's going to be on the throne? I was like, I don't think anyone's going to be on the throne. And technically, I wasn't right.
Yeah, technically.
I wasn't right. Wrong and right, I just combined.
But it was cool how Drogon got rid of it, I think.
Yeah.
After seeing his mother die and his siblings die because of the Iron Throne. I don't know if they're clever enough to, like, realise.
Well, that's what I was... But... I think they're, like, magical, clever beings. So I feel like that was what he was doing.
Yeah.
He realised...
Like, fuck that throne. I've lost everything because of that.
Yeah.
You're going to get deaded.
He kind of knew that Jon wasn't the real reason that she died.
Yeah, I think
and
so
that she had it come into her. I read a tweet there that I thought was really funny, and it was like Drogon acting like the Skyrim NPCs when you kill someone right in front of them. Like, who did this to my queen? And then just like goes and attacks someone else. But another symbolism, I'm pretty sure that confirms Jon is the prince that's promised, and just the prophecy was lost in translation a little bit because he plunged his sword into the one that he loved,
and he did love her as well,
to save the realm.
Yeah.
And I think people were attributing that to so he'd stop the Night King.
Yeah, a lot of people, including me, thought it would be that as well.
But I think he did it because we didn't know that Dany was going to be this evil person, but it turns out she was. So he didn't do it to stop the Night King, who was the evil person. He did it to stop Dany, who was the evil person. So in plunging the sword, he did what the prophecy said, just not how everyone
As
thought it was
Azor Ahai actually confirmed.
Yes, and that's when I was watching it. I was like, they did that in the best way possible. Like if he'd pulled out, like if he'd done it with Longclaw and then pulled it out when it was on fire, I'd be like,
yeah,
that'd be shit. What the fuck are you doing? So I thought they, from a person that doesn't really know much about the lore, really, I thought it was a really nice way to do it. But again, I don't really know.
I liked how Drogon picked Dany up at the end and just flew away. I think that was the best way that they could have left as well.
Yeah, agreed. I like that. I've not really looked at too much opinions on this last episode, so I don't know people's opinions on all this kind of stuff. But
what really annoys me in general about this season is people on social media. Like, I didn't go on anything until after the episode, obviously, but then I went on Twitter, and literally the whole Twitter feed is just people giving their 2 cents about Game of Thrones. No one cares.
Yeah,
I mean, if you want to do it, like we're doing it on a podcast, or
where people will click on it specifically to hear our opinion.
And this is before it's been aired in the UK. Like, it's just annoying. Just shut up. No one cares. Fuck off.
There's literally a platform to do it on, and that is YouTube. As long as you don't put a spoiler in the thumbnail, you can talk about spoilers freely because people know that you're talking about Game of Thrones and they've chosen to click on it. That makes sense.
If you choose to click on it, but if you just randomly scroll... just annoys me, man.
Yeah,
and most of the people who do it are just jumping on a bandwagon that is just
to get likes and retweets.
Bad writing. Well, why do you think that then? Bad writing.
Lots of people said it, so it must be true. I do like. There are obviously problems with the series.
Yes,
but you can talk about the problems and like address them if you really want to
in a proper way.
You can have an opinion on it. There's no problem with that. Just don't have an opinion and be like, my opinion is right and everyone else is wrong. You can't say it is a bad season. You can say I think it's a bad season. The storylines didn't go the way I wanted them to. But if I take a step back and appreciate it just how it is, how it's happened, even if I wouldn't have written it that way, obviously these people are like professional writers that have written amazing scenes. For example, that fucking shot of Drogon behind Dany.
I wanted to mention that as well.
Oh my fucking god.
That was so good.
I literally... Because the whole entire of that first, like, before the first adverts, that was pretty much silence. And then you could tell she was about to do a speech, and then it fucking pans to her and fucking Drogon's
behind her. That
was
such a sick shot.
Oh my god. I literally, like, I was kind of like lying down on my couch because I was knackered, and I sat up and went, holy shit,
really?
Best shot of the whole entire show.
It was sick.
Fucking so good. I've got goosebumps.
And that's
like,
saying something as well, because
it.
there's so many good shots.
Yeah, so I thought, and to be fair, I saw, like we were saying, a lot of negativity towards Game of Thrones on social media and stuff. Loads of people tweeting whatever they want. The thing that I saw the most of was people tweeting that shot and going, best shot of Game of Thrones. And I 100% agree. Like, as I said, literally got goosebumps just imagining the shot in my head. I'm not even seeing it, and it's cool.
It was cool, man.
So, personally, I think the first half of the episode...
Oh, yeah.
Like we said, for wrapping up the storylines and stuff, was perfect. I think they did that insanely well. They managed to confirm Azor Ahai. They killed off their main villain that they've transformed, a lovable character, and they did it in a decent way with the right people. They had an amazing scene with Jon and Tyrion.
Yeah, when he was in prison.
Which, I think that's the longest scene of just two people talking, maybe ever in Game of Thrones. Like, that was a long time. Because I remember, there was literally, because I watched it live, so I got the ad breaks, and that scene started from, it was the first scene after the ads, and then there was that, and then he goes and kills Dany. That was one ad break, so that was like 20 minutes long, just that. So I
like that scene a lot.
So good.
I want to rewatch it.
They genuinely, like, you could tell Jon was battling with himself, but
proper conflicted.
He had really good points, and then Tyrion had really good backups that weren't just, no, you're wrong. Maybe the Game of Thrones fans should listen to what Tyrion's saying and understand that there are two sides to every point, and people can like it and people can not like it, and it doesn't have to be the worst thing in the world.
I concur. But what I thought was cool was the parallels between him and Ned. Like, him and Ned were both willing to sacrifice their own lives, but then Tyrion brought in Sansa and Arya, saying that they're not going to kneel to Dany because they're not going to.
Yeah.
And Jon was like, actually, you're right, which means that they would die as well. And I think that was one of the final things that switched Jon's thoughts to him being like, I need to kill Dany. He knew all along, but he was very conflicted within himself.
Yeah. And I liked that. I think it was like one of the last lines that Tyrion said as Jon was leaving was like, you know what you have to do, it's just whether you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that was a nice way to leave it relatively open-ended, so you couldn't tell if he was actually saying, my queen, at the end or not.
I 100% agree with you that the first half, they did really well at rounding it off with all the stories that they'd created.
Yes.
Like we've said, people might not agree with those stories. I don't fully agree with them, but they did a really good job of rounding it off. But then the second half, what were you going to say about that?
Well... I was going to mention this at the start, and I was like, no, we'll save it because I wanted to genuinely address how amazing the episode was. And then skipping forward a little bit, when Jon was saying goodbye to Sansa, Arya, and Arya, fucking keep on getting that wrong, and Bran, when he was walking away to the boat to be taken to wherever he was going, I can't remember the name of it. Yeah. Fucking Curtis looked at the screen and went, we were just in silence, and he just screamed, what the fuck is going on?
Really?
Sorry for the clipping for the audio people, but like, I fucking lost it when he did that. I was like, you just explained everything that I'm thinking. The reason that I was saying at the start, like, how I don't know how to process it is all of the second half. Why is Bran the king? What? I'm so confused.
Yeah, that's kind of how I don't know how to feel overall. We talked about the first half, that was sick. But then Bran being... The bookies were right, because they had that as the favourite, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah, all the way through before the season even started, they were like, Bran's the favourite for the...
How?
All the way through, even before the final episode, even during the final episode... It doesn't feel right to me that Bran would be the leader.
The one line that really fucking annoyed me was when, first of all, why the fuck's Tyrion going on about, you'd be the perfect Bran the Broken, Bran the Cripple? That's a fucking shit name, first of all. Second of all, he goes, would you accept being the king or whatever? And he goes, that's the reason I'm here. What?
Whereas-
What? So the three-eyed raven, that was the only reason any of that ever existed. The only reason he's the three-eyed raven is to become the king, which then makes everything that he's done be like incredibly selfish
Yeah, I
and
know.
like have
He let thousands of people
ulterior
burn
motives.
so he could become the king. And in Winterfell, at the beginning of the season, he speaks. I think it might even be Tyrion. He speaks.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, I can't be a lord. I'm not Bran Stark anymore.
Yeah, he's like, I can't be a lord because I'm going to be the king.
I'll be the fucking king instead."
And then we need to address king of the six kingdoms because the north has been separated. But then the north is ruled by his sister. So he's the king of the seven kingdoms,
Pretty much,
really. Because it's not like they're at war or anything all that different, is it?
Out of all of that, like deciding who's going to rule and stuff, I think Sansa being the queen of the north fits her perfectly.
Yeah, I also saw a tweet that was something like, I can't believe that the only character that I kind of agree with the reasoning of is Sansa. Like, because I agree with the same thing. Like, I don't really like Sansa that much. I liked her in the previous seasons, but ever since she's been like, I'm in the north and I'm the
stubborn.
best, I didn't really like her very much. But in this scene, I was like, I love everything that she's doing. How has it got to the point where she was my favourite character now?
Yeah.
What the fuck did they do to Tyrion?
Really?
I just like, why did he fucking want to bomb Bran so much? What was the whole entire hype of Jon possibly being the, like, heir to the throne? Why?
And then that didn't really matter.
He obviously killed Dany, that's a big problem. But then they were like, he's not even part of contention. Whereas another person that betrayed the queen, Tyrion, he could be Hand of the King. That makes sense, doesn't it? But Jon, now he has to be leader of the Night's Watch. What the fuck? Literally, all of this character building and character art they did for Jon throughout every single season, they've built him up to be this amazing person who then kills the love of his life and then just gets put back to where he was in season one.
He did kill the queen, which meant that he was imprisoned. But if Grey Worm was so against it, and he caught Jon in the room, he probably would have just killed him. Yeah.
Or he would care about it enough to stick around and not just fuck back to Quarth or however the fuck you
He
say
went
it.
to Narth,
Narth.
which
Is
wasn't
in
him.
Essos, isn't it?
Wasn't him fucking back. That was where Missandei was from.
Right, okay.
So he was going there as they spoke about him protecting it. But still, I know what you mean.
I knew that was where Missandei was from. I just, in my head, they were both from the same place, but I realised that, that's...
Or Missandei, as the directors say in the fucking behind the scenes thing.
Missandei?
Yeah. In the whole show, everyone calls her Missandei. And then in the behind the scenes thing, the director, I think it's Dan or Dave, one of them, he goes, Missandei, every single time.
It sounds like us going, me Sunday, am I right? We're just changing the word a little bit.
Sunday. But going back to Bran being the leader and it not fitting right with me, that doesn't feel right to me. But I was thinking about who would feel right to be the king. I don't think anyone would.
No.
Apart from Jon, but that wouldn't even feel right because he doesn't want that. And
Exactly.
That wouldn't be the right way to end his character.
But they didn't need to be a king.
No.
I was hoping, because obviously Dany had this whole I'm going to break the wheel kind of thing, and I liked that, but she was obviously seeing it from the wrong way. I'm going to break the wheel by being a dictator. Doesn't work. But they could have carried on her break the wheel. Mousy donk. We're just gonna move on. They could have done that by, well, Tyrion even said, like, our queen obviously wanted to break the wheel. This is a way to do it. Have an elected monarchy instead of
Have two wheels instead on his Bran's wheelchair.
break the wheel, make two.
No, I thought when they had the meeting with all the lords, they were going to decide that each kingdom was going to be independent,
Or
which I think would have worked better.
have a council, like, not each kingdom's relatively independent, but like it is kind of in America where there's a president,
Donald Trump.
but like the president is not like it's because obviously they didn't want to do a democracy because they all laughed at Sam for it, which I thought was funny.
He almost made democracy.
Mate, for a second, first of all, I thought he was just going to stand up and say, "Democracy manifest." Get your hands off my penis!
What is the charge?
For eating a meal, a succulent Chinese meal. If you've not seen that video, that will
Won't get the meme, but you have to have seen it. Just search succulent Chinese meal.
Yes.
And come back to the video.
Perfect. So yeah, when he was going about democracy, and then everyone laughed. I was like, thank God that they didn't end Game of Thrones with how do we solve this democracy, and that was it. But what they could have done is had like a elected monarch that then, instead of it being like a round table with all of the king's people that he talks to, like they'll have a meeting with all of the lords and they all address what they want, and then they go back with their own councils, like aka Parliament. It's just not voted as a democracy. That would make sense, because then there wouldn't have to be like a king, and they could just have someone in King's Landing that is filling the position but not a king.
Well, they need to rebuild the whole city as well.
Yes. Oh, that was another thing that Curtis was shouting at loads, which I thought was really funny. Every time that it cut to like Danny looking all proud being in King's Landing, he's like, "It's a fucking wreck, mate! Why are you happy? Don't hang the Targaryen flag over the ruins." Yeah, I thought it was pretty stupid. But I still like, it's almost hard to talk about because I don't even understand why Bran's king. He can see everything.
Out of everyone, it kind of makes sense, but it just doesn't at the same time.
Should we have people that understand the region really well, or like are really good with politics, or really good at social skills? Should we have any of these people? Nah, just give it to the guy with superpowers.
I wonder whether that it was George R.R. Martin's, like, his plan for it to be Bran, or whether he didn't tell them and that was the directors of the show.
True, yeah, because there was, like we have said a couple of times, there's a third thing that the George R.R. Martin told the showrunners that he hadn't put in the books yet, that he knew was going to happen, that he wanted the showrunners to.
That would have either been Danny going
mental,
or Jon killing Danny, or a mixture of the two.
Either one of those. I don't think the thing was going to be Bran is the king, so I think that was the showrunners' idea. So, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It just, again, like, if they'd showed any inclination to that throughout the whole entire of the season, because they were really hinting that Bran, his thing was with the White Walkers and the Children of the Earth, the Forest, whatever the fuck they're called. Fucking nosemongs, that we clearly are never going to find out any more information of, apart from the prequel series.
Maybe in the prequel.
But we should find out about it in the actual series that it's mentioned in.
Yeah.
Either do a whole prequel series and don't mention any of the prequel series in the first bit, just mention the current time period. Why would he have a flashback about loads of shit that doesn't matter? Why did he see the Mad King unless that was going to matter to him? There's just a load of shit that just really fucking pissed me off.
Yeah, it is very hard to round it off in this time that they had, which we've said before. Just
do more episodes. You've had fucking 2 years.
Yeah.
You have an insane amount of budget, which I know you spent a lot of it on battle scenes and stuff, and it did look really, really good.
It did.
But, like,
if they spread it out, I feel like finishing this episode that it doesn't feel fully final.
Yeah.
Which I feel like I should be getting excited to watch the next season in a year's time.
Because, like, how is it a fitting end, Jon just leaving with the wildlings?
I think if... So Bran was made king. Bran could have been like, Jon, you're excused of your crimes because we know that that's the right thing to do. And because he's king then, Grey Worm wouldn't have been able to be like, no, I want justice and kill him. But then...
I mean, Jaime got that, didn't he? He was Kingslayer.
Yeah.
And he was let off.
He was.
How is that okay?
Because Jaime killed a Mad King, and so did Jon. But no, Jon, you're a naughty boy then.
Literally, Bran could just be like, nah, you don't have to go, mate.
Yeah. But if he was then like, no, I need to go north and kind of like exiles himself.
If Jon decided to, yeah, that'd be sick.
That would have been a lot more satisfying, I think, for his character.
If he was like, I need to go and find who I am now, or something like that, and then he left to live with the wildlings, that'd be sick. Jon,
finally,
ghost. Did you forget, or were you just memeing? Okay, thank you, because I genuinely forgot. I was so annoyed throughout that whole entire second half, and then I was like, they've seen Ghost. He's back in the north. Oh my god, they're going to do it. He's walking over. And then he pets. I was like, okay.
Good boy finally gets a pet.
all of the screaming
You are
emotions. Yeah, I just
Screaming, shouting.
Screaming, shouting in my head.
They added that in, like, as CGI after everyone freaked out about him not petting
I
him?
do feel like that.
They might have done.
Or when everyone was freaking out that John didn't pet him, the creators were just like, just stop complaining so much. Wait for the next episode, pretty please. Like we can't say it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Don't complain.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have happened twice, couldn't it? I don't know.
Could have. But no, the final shot was John going north of the wall, wasn't it? With the wildlings.
With Tormund and all the wildlings.
Yeah. And did you see there was a little green grass sprouting through the snow
Oh, no.
for spring?
Oh, that's cool.
That was cool. And the woods that they were going through was from the same woods as the first ever scene
I was going to say,
in
yeah.
the show where you see the
Where you see the
White Walker
symbol
shit.
that clearly has been revealed, and we now know the whole
now
entire
know the
story.
whole reason.
Yeah, we know all the reason why the Night King was doing what he was doing, and all of that is totally explained. I'm so glad that they did a full circle, went back to that place, and now we know why the White Walkers are. No, they didn't, because they're fucking stupid.
I think, I mean, this is always to do with the show, but it's a big tangent.
It's a big first
to
reactions tangent.
Their story better, and it's to do with the writing. It would have made more sense for the theory of Bran being the Night King, for them to figure that out, to give the Night King more of a reason and stuff, than for him to be king. The actual king of the Iron, the Seven Kingdoms. That would make more sense.
Literally, like that stupid theory that proper Game of Thrones fans were like, this is stupid, why would this be a thing?
It was stupid, but it kind of had some reasoning behind it.
There was a theory
compared
behind it.
to
There was set up to it, at least, unlike him being the king.
Bran have good story. Bran have broken leg. King.
Do you think they were just like
Tyrion said.
desperately trying to come up with the end of Game of Thrones, and they were just like taking shed loads of coke in a room, and then they were just like they were insanely like high and buzzing and just writing everything down, and then they were at the tail end, they were on the come down, and one of them just went, Bran broken legs, good story.
Good story.
And the other one goes, King. And they just write that down, and that was the script. And then Tyrion, Peter Dinklage looked at it and went, how am I going to make sense of this? So he came up with this whole entire scene just around broken legs, King.
I just thought of the real reason why the Iron Throne was destroyed, because leading up to the throne, there was steps. So if Bran was going to be the king, he wouldn't have been able to get up there.
I saw a meme that was, you know that guy that's like tapping his head?
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, did you, if you think about it, that kind of meme. There was that, but it was Drogon's face instead. And it was like, I burnt the throne because the new king already sits down, doesn't need a chair.
Some quality memes.
Yeah. I feel kind of drained now after raging about that second half so much. I'm really glad that we got the first half. Like, if they were two separate episodes, and I was like, the first half, if that was a full episode, I would have been like, holy shit, that's such a good episode. I wonder what's going to happen next. And then if it was followed up by a whole episode of the second half, I would be so triggered.
We can see from the second half why the last book was initially going to be called A Time for Wolves now. Because obviously, Sansa Queen.
Sansa Queen?
Bran King. Jon killing Dany, and then Arya was sailing west of Westeros and had the Stark symbol on her ship.
There was a quote that I assume was a quote from like the books or like a later on earlier season or like a prophecy or something, and it was something like, when the winter winds stop, the lone wolf will something be part of the pack or something like that.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm on about?
Exactly that,
Do you know that quote?
Yeah,
I don't know exactly.
The lone wolf dies,
Obviously.
but the pack survives.
Yeah, that was it, and that, at least that quote came to fruition. But I don't know what that quote's from.
I think it's just something that one of them said in an episode.
Right. Well, it makes sense from that, because the lone wolf died, but the pack survives because Jon's gone, but they're all doing their own thing. Do you want to see a spin-off series of Arya being fucking Christopher Columbus? Because I do.
That'd be quite cool, actually.
That's another thing me and Curtis were just shouting. It's just like, she's just fucking going off to be Christopher Columbus. We got fucking Professor Xavier on the fucking throne. What the fuck's going on?
Oh my god. I mean, it sounds funny, but I'm glad I didn't watch it with Curtis now. For the first time.
Yeah.
Second time.
It was. I appreciated it because I kind of didn't really know how to process anything, and then Curtis just kept on screaming stuff, and it was.
I bet it helped to keep you awake as well.
Oh, definitely. I was very tired, but I couldn't have slept through it. Like as soon as it finished, I was like, "So I'm going to bed right now."
Right now. I am sad that it's over. It's been done decently, but
Yeah.
there still feels like an empty hole for me.
100%. Like I said before we started talking about it, I definitely feel like we need to fully address, like, not every single storyline, but like the important parts that, like, as a not a series, just season 8, but like the whole entire series of Game of Thrones, like from season 1 till season 8, we need to address like what happened and what we liked and what we didn't like. I think we need a whole episode for that, where we actually like will probably think of things and it's not our first reaction. Only 5 stars. I just feel like we've missed things. Have we missed things?
We've not talked about like the last Bran's kind of council with their characters that we know.
Oh yeah, that was really. I thought that was all right.
I liked Brienne filling out Jaime's book in the Kingsguard book, which was nice. And Podrick is Kingsguard as well, which is cool.
Yes, mate, fucking Podrick.
So Davos is the Master of Ships. Bronn is the Master of Coin. And he got Highgarden.
Yeah, I mean, he got Highgarden and then was Master of Coin. Like, surely that's just like an extra thing. He tried to kill you.
So if
he literally blackmailed you into getting fucking Highgarden, and you made him Master of Coin as well.
If he was Master of Coin, then he wouldn't be in Highgarden to enjoy it. So
it's very strange. But I liked him. Maybe that was punishment because he couldn't be in Highgarden. So they made him
you get your castle, but
you're never there.
You're not allowed to be there.
I thought it was really funny when he was like, the Master of Coin approves the funding for all the brothels. That was a funny meme.
Yeah, it was good. I don't know.
That scene at the end made me it made me feel hopeful for the future of that world, which is, I guess, is how you want to end a series. You don't want to be like, shit, what the fuck's going to happen? You want to be like that. I feel like they're in safe hands almost. I'm glad Tyrion's Hand of the King. He's basically in charge because Bran's fucking walking all the time.
Pretty much.
They start having a meeting. They're like, do you know where Drogon is?
I might find
No, I
him.
don't. All right, I'm going to warg, so see you later. And he just fucks off and goes and wargs, I'm assuming, to go and try and find Drogon. So, like, just doesn't sit there for the rest of the meeting. Surely the king's supposed to be there. Isn't that what the meeting's for?
Did he leave?
Yeah. Bran just left. He turned up for like 2 seconds. They all went, my king. And they did it a bit weird.
My king.
And then he was like, where's Drogon? We don't know. All right, well...
Went east a bit.
Yeah, so I'll go and try and find him. And they left. Well, he got wheeled out by Podrick.
By Pod. That's Podrick's job, just to wheel him around now. I don't think there's anything else that I really want to say, apart from it's over, and I'm upset about that.
Yeah, same.
But it had to come to an end at some point, I guess. Looking forward to seeing how it finishes in the books, though.
Yes.
That'll be a long time coming.
If we ever do get to see that.
But I'm looking forward to it. I just want to remember how good Game of Thrones has been as a whole.
Exactly.
I will do.
As a whole, brilliant. It 100% has. And even with the problems we've had with the last season, obviously people have exaggerated that a lot online. There have been problems. I just don't. Bad writing. Jesus. Sorry for the audio people. Look how much you clipped my mic.
Nice.
Not even yours. Yeah. So I feel like overall it was still really, really good. I think overall season 8 was still good.
I think so too.
In comparison to the other seasons.
Yeah, it's still good.
But still good. It's still better than half of the shows that I would watch.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for
I genuinely
on this journey.
I feel like there's a part of me that's like gone now.
Yeah, no, shit.
I just want to be able to be like, I'm so excited for the next episode, and there isn't.
Next season, if they spaced it out correctly.
Maybe next season we'll find out what Jon's doing. Oh, there's no season.
Oh.
Maybe we'll find out what the White Walkers. Oh, there's no season. Maybe Tyrion will. Oh, there's no season.
Yeah. Will the brothels be rebuilt before anything else important like infrastructure?
Find out next week.
Find out next.
Find out in 2 years when they make the next one. One thing that I thought when they were leaving past the wall, because it was so like quiet and ominous, I genuinely thought there was going to be like a fucking White Walker or some shit, and they were going to end on a cliffhanger. I had
that as well, but then I was like, nah, that was so shit.
If they do that, that would be so shit. I was ready to. It was like, you know, when when Thingy killed Jamie, and I thought he was going to die on that rock.
Mm-hmm.
And when Euron killed Jamie, I was like, if it ends like that, the show is shit. And it was another moment. Like, if it ends with a fucking White Walker.
So wank.
Yeah. Or they find, like, another symbol that's been made and they don't know who's done the symbol.
A spiral symbol. And then someone opens their eye and it's blue and then it cuts to black.
All of the wildlings open their eyes and they're blue and then they just turn into White Walkers.
And Tormund goes, I've always had blue eyes.
He goes, I've always had blue eyes, and then just turns into a white. He takes like a mask off, and he's a White Walker. It's a twist. He was the Night King all along. I think we should do a tinfoil hat theory for if there was another season or another episode of what Jon is doing with the wildlings. Brings me perfectly onto a theory that I have. A little tinfoil hat theories. Where do you think he's going? What do you think he's going to be doing? What's happening?
What's he doing then?
Who do you think he'll find along the way? Where do you think he's exploring? Will he meet Shrek? Will he find the swamp?
I think he's going to go, and they're just going to go north and north and even further north.
Until they fall off the map.
They fall off the map, and Arya will fall off the map west, and Drogon will fall off the map east and catch them on the side of the map, on the side of the world as they're falling.
And then we're going to have a space adventure with Drogon, Arya, and Jon flying through space.
And Ghost.
And Ghost. Oh, yeah.
Gotta have Ghost. And then they'll find space White Walkers and finally find
the reason where the White Walkers actually came from.
They're aliens.
And where the children of the forest came from. And because I always call them children of the earth, it will show why they're not children of the earth.
They're children of space.
Yes, they're children of the space forest. And there's going to be a whole new series called Game of Space. No, and then Jon's going to get blonde hair and he's going to find a green blob that destroys things, and that's how Final Space starts.
What? Projections
confirmed. That's it for Game of Thrones.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Game of Thrones.
We can never talk about new episodes of Game of Thrones anymore. We can never give our first reactions to Game of Thrones. That's it. I know we only did it for this season.
I know.
But like
but still, end of an era.
Fuck.
We cheers to Game of Thrones.
We do. We cheers.
News?
News? Should we do some news?
A little bit of news.
A little bit. Just a touchy little bit of news. So, the first little touchy of news that I want to... Wait, I'm going to try and sit differently because this is squeaky. Spoilers for Endgame in the news segment. So the first thing I want to talk about is something we talked about for the last 3 episodes. It's James Charles.
Or Jimmy C, as he's known
in
the beauty world.
What, by nonces? It sounds like a proper, like, paedophile name.
Jimmy C's coming
round. James Charles has almost done a comeback. He's done the equivalent of the Iron Man clicking his fingers at the end of Endgame. Spoilers. Shit.
Been out for a while now. He's actually gaining subscribers again now. And
yeah, mate.
Tati
so
and Jeffree Star are losing subscribers.
Tati's Thanos. She did the first click, and then he's Iron Man, and he's done his second click. So did you watch the video, James Charles video?
Not really, but Jen was watching it yesterday, and I was sat next to her.
Is she into that kind of stuff, or she was
kind of? Yeah. That's why I was doing stupid Snapchat filters on James Charles's face. I sent it to you last night.
Yeah, I screenshotted loads of them.
Yeah.
They were well good. I watched the whole entire video because I'm fully invested and I watched all of Tati's video, so I felt it was only fair. And he did genuinely address all the points, and he did kind of make out that Tati was just blowing it a lot out of proportion. Jeffree Star seems like a fucking psycho.
Can you not tell her he looks like a friggin' alien that's
come
from the Game of Thrones spin-off?
You can't judge people
No,
by
you can.
looking
He's
like
a fucking
aliens.
freak, mate.
No, William
Is a freak.
You can't call him a freak because of how he looks. You can call him a freak because he's a
And
fucking
the way he
creep.
acts, and the way that
Yes.
he speaks, and
That's
everything.
that's allowed.
No, everything.
You seem majorly triggered, mate.
No, he's just a weirdo.
Right.
But what's he done now?
What, Jeffree Star?
Yeah.
So, mate, some of the texts he was sending, he would make up things that he was going to expose James Charles on to make him really worried. He's a fucking 19-year-old kid.
Jesus.
And he was saying, like, he tweeted at James Charles's younger brother, who I think might be like 17 or some shit, who James Charles's younger brother just tweeted out completely, like, irrelevant, something like I don't like when people get hated on or something like that, and it wasn't even about James Charles or anything like that. He was just tweeting because he's got his own problems in his own life. Jeffree Star responded by saying, well, why don't you explain why your brother's a predator and tell the real reason why you moved out of New York publicly to like his millions and millions of Twitter followers, and just outed James Charles as being a predator. I did inverted commas because he's not done anything, and he gave lots of proof as to why he's kind of for example, the DM that he sent to Thingy's boyfriend, what's her name? Zara Larsson, was literally, "You're so hot." That was it, and he didn't even know that he was in a relationship, and he also mentions in the video, which I thought was fucking really funny, the way that Zara Larsson met her boyfriend is she put a tweet out of a screenshot of him, because he was a model, saying, "Who is this person? I want to know everything about you, how old you are, oh my god, you're the most attractive person in the world." And then they got together because of it.
Ironic.
But then he DMs him saying, "You're hot." That's it. And apparently he's trying to turn him gay because he's straight. Like it's like
He's
me
just-
messaging a girl.
Sliding in someone's DMs, just flirting.
Yeah, it's like me messaging a girl assuming she's straight, and then people getting really annoyed if she's gay, though I'm trying to turn her straight. Like, it's obviously that would be seen as stupid, but because he's gay, messaging straight people apparently isn't okay.
Yeah. Kind of feel sorry for him after.
I know.
It's not just one-sided attack against him.
Yeah, but I think regardless, the memes are still pretty good.
Yeah. Memes are always good about anything.
Yeah, but like we said in the last video, the amount of fucking hate that's gone onto him for basically nothing at this point. Like, we thought at least there was something that he'd done wrong in the last video, but losing 3 million is a lot. But he's basically not really done anything wrong. He just messaged a couple of guys because he liked them.
Yeah, seems like it. That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, so I just wanted to... I think, hopefully, this is the last time we talk about James Charles, because I don't really care about him or his content. I just got really invested in all this drama. I do like a bit of drama, a bit of gossip.
Star over here.
Yes, which moves us on to a bit more drama. I want to talk about Jake Paul. Have you heard about what he's said recently?
Don't think so.
So, he made a video on Cody Ko, who, I don't know if you watched.
I know who he is.
I linked you him like a couple of, maybe even like a year ago.
Yeah,
or
ages
something
ago.
now.
More than that.
And it was when Vine had kind of stopped being a thing, and obviously he was a Viner, and I assume that most Viners have really shit content, because most Viners on YouTube do, bar a couple people, and the ones that have started doing commentary are people like Danny Gonzalez, I think his last name is, Drew Gooden, and Cody Ko. Those three are hilarious, and I can't believe they started on Vine, because like they're so much better than them starting on Vine. So Cody Ko got attacked, well, on the internet by Jake Paul. Like, he made a video on Cody Ko calling him a cyberbully.
All right then.
And calling him out for it, and then he's done a load of tweets. Obviously, people didn't agree with that and thought he was an idiot.
Yeah.
So Jake Paul did a load of tweets saying, just because I've done things in my past, when I make a serious video on like a serious topic about cyberbullying, people just discredit it. And
Well, what was his proof for him being a bully?
well, because Cody Ko's made videos on him and did the whole
Oh, that was it.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so basically, the reason I wanted to talk about it is because it's just fucking stupid. Like, literally, someone made a video on... Say if someone makes a video on Jake Paul, then he gets annoyed because they're being cyberbullied, so he makes a video on them. So first of all, in his own logic, he is being a cyberbully. But regardless of that...
Yeah, I think people just make stuff up to get views, genuinely.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I mean, he's definitely... I think Jake Paul is very clever from a media standpoint. And he realised that all of these commentary channels always talk about him. So if he talks about them, then they're definitely going to talk about him. And that's all because I follow a shitload of commentary people on Twitter, so that's all I saw was like Game of Thrones, Jake Paul, Game of Thrones, Jake Paul, Game of Thrones. So the fact that the last episode of Game of Thrones has come out and I've seen more people talking about Jake Paul than the last episode of Game of Thrones is crazy. So I felt like it was needed to be addressed in the way that we do, which is without any information and with me just seeing tweets. And you don't even know about it.
That, speaking about the Pauls, the other Paul, Logan Paul, is entering into the world, like... Well, I don't know if he's entering the competition, but he's going to fight against the world's leading... I don't know what the sport's called. They slap each other in the face, basically.
What a slapping sport.
Yeah, there's some really huge Russian guy who just knocks people out by slapping them, and they're going to have a slap-off. So there's videos of Logan, like, training, slapping these Poles.
What?
Yeah, and he's just going to get knocked out, isn't he?
Yeah, I've seen people, like, slap each other and, like, knock them out from a slap, and I've always thought, fuck, how hard you have to slap someone to knock you out.
That they do.
You know there's competition.
And you have to stand there and take it, like, you can't dodge out of the way. It's not like a boxing match where you can dodge and weave and move. You have to stand there and take it until one of you, like, either forfeits or gets knocked out.
What happens if you, like, get knocked out in the first one?
You just lose.
But then that's surely, like, there's a very strong advantage to the person that goes first, then.
Good point. I don't know how that works.
Because you're always one slap ahead.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, let's hope Logan's slapping first, because otherwise he'd be deaded.
He'd be deaded.
That's Logan Paul be deaded.
If he lasts a couple of slaps, though, then fair.
And the last thing that I wanted to talk about on the news is something, again, that we talked about last week. Jeremy Kyle.
Jezza K.
So, last week... I was like, I wanted to try and find something that wasn't that serious, and I was just like, Jeremy Kyle got cancelled. What the fuck's that about?
That was pretty serious, wasn't it?
Turns out very serious. I feel like a bit of an idiot. Genuinely tried to look at for what it was the only thing that I've ever tried to like find information on, so I wasn't an idiot because I saw someone had died, and I was like, well, I don't want to talk about it if it's like quite a serious thing. Didn't seem like it was a serious thing, so I was like, Jeremy Kyle's been cancelled. What the fuck? And I was like. But all conspiracy around how the person died because it was hidden. Wasn't hidden. The person sadly committed suicide. So
I was right when we talked about it. Yeah,
because that's what you said, and I was like, it could be. I don't really know because I genuinely couldn't find the information. So maybe
that would make sense as to why it would be cancelled.
Yes, maybe that information just wasn't out when I was looking, or I'm just an idiot. But I just wanted to address that. I'm sorry. I don't think. I'm obviously people care about the situation. I don't think people care about me personally talking about the situation, so I don't think anyone cares about my apology. But I just wanted to put it out there. Did not want to address it lightly, but I'm pretty glad that it's kind of being brought to light as to the effects of that happening on a TV show. Like being, I remember saying it was like bear baiting, which it basically is. You're just like ripping into a person and just like everyone watching just laughs at them. Like, look at this person, what an idiot. Who would go on Jeremy Kyle? Like, and it clearly has a big effect on them. So I'm glad that's being addressed. And then there were things
that they've had to only address it after someone's killed themselves.
That's the way that people deal with shit though. They like it's always after the fact. It's never like, oh, we'll preemptively do this thing. And a lot of people were up in arms because I think it's ITV that have Jeremy Kyle, isn't it? They also have Love Island, don't they?
Yeah. And
like I think 2 is it 3 people have committed suicide.
Killed themselves. who have been on the show
who have been on the
might
show
not have necessarily been like directly to do with the show.
I think it's to do with the level of fame that they got from the show.
And they've not had the
100%.
correct care afterwards.
Yeah, and I think that's the same thing with the Jeremy Kyle show, which is the aftercare probably wasn't the best if it led to someone committing suicide. So surely Love Island should be held in the same regard, just because it brings in
too
more
much money for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hopefully the money that they get will now be used to properly help.
Yeah, all they need to do is just make sure that they look after them, and at least for like, I think the show came out and said something like, we support people for at least like a year afterwards and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like
you can support someone by giving them a call and being, "You all right?" And they'll probably be like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Yeah.
When in reality, they're definitely not fine.
Yeah.
So there's different levels of care and support, I guess.
But there is also only so much you can do. The person has to want to help themselves.
Yeah.
So you could be like, we'll pay for therapy for you, and then the person will just be like, I'm not going to go, or I won't open up. And so it is a
tricky
yeah
subject, but it's something that they need to put more of a focus on.
100%. And like you said, it's a shame that they have to do it after the fact, not preemptively. But
mate, this is the most serious thing we've ever talked about on the podcast.
I think we're doing quite well as well. And we've saved it literally for the hour mark. Like, we're an hour into the podcast and we talked about the most serious thing we've ever talked about. But I feel like it definitely needed to be addressed, considering the way that the way that I dealt with it last week, because I thought it was more memey than it actually was. I thought it was just like, the FBI's going to come after me because I'm digging deep into this thing that no one knows about, and turns out lots of people know about it, and it was actually a really bad thing. So I don't know if you think we have time. I think we have time for a bonus meme, bonus reactions.
Bonus reaction. I was going to flip a coin to see if there's time, but I don't have any coins on me. So
it just is.
Heads for bonus reactions. Oh, it's heads.
Oh, it was tails. What a shame. Can't do bonus reactions. Goodbye.
Flip the guitar plectrum. Oh, it's the same on each side. What's it going to be?
Oh,
bonus reaction.
It's bonus reaction.
Just the one bonus reaction, actually. So we talked about Sonic recently in a recent podcast about the movie and how they made him look awful. But the Sonic fandom are like the furry fandom, and there's lots of weird fan fiction.
Yes.
And all sorts of stuff.
There's weird fan fiction of most, but
that's true.
In particular,
this is extra, S tier fan fiction.
Wait, that's our next video. Yes.
But
fucking tier list of fucking furries.
Because there are so many fan fictions and so many forums and stuff and so many drawings that people have done based on Sonic characters, you can search your name and then the hedgehog. So yours would be Joe the Hedgehog, Will the Hedgehog, and it comes up with your own hedgehog with different personality traits and shit. Oh, and it's the weirdest thing ever, but it's quite funny to see.
Mate, we are 100% doing this. This sounds fucking insane. Okay, who's going to go first? Who's going to type their hedge?
I'll go first.
It's called a thing, I'm pretty sure. It's like your Sonic persona.
Maybe.
Oh, fursona is for furries. So what's Sona?
Sursona.
Will the Hedgehog.
Let's look who he is. Ooh, let's look who he is.
Or is it just going to Google it and being like, Will the Hedgehog, as in will he? Will the Hedgehog.
Oh, this one looks like it's a good one.
Yo, this one looks cool. In the least cool way possible.
Right.
Let's make this...
Look at the fucking quote. I will set you on fire, stupid
guy.
No, stupid gay. So I've got a nice fire hedgehog, which fits my ginger hair.
Yeah,
they did it for me.
For the audio podcast, there's a picture of a flamey hedgehog that has a quote under it that say, "I will set you on fire, stupid gay." And there's a little bio next to it that I've just made a bit bigger so we can read it out.
Name, Flame Chaser the Hedgehog, 12 years old.
Why
Weapons, breathe fire. No, breath fire.
Breath.
And laser eyes.
To be fair, the drawing...
It's not bad drawing.
It's a pretty good drawing, considering... I'm assuming this is done by an
11-year-old. Probably.
Maybe a 12-year-old.
12, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Flame Chaser?
Flame Chaser is the fastest hedgehog of all.
Oh!
Dr. Eggman gave him his shoes, which made him the fastest. Faster than Sonic and all other hedgehogs.
To be fair, that's a better backstory than the fucking White Walkers. So.
Yeah.
Dr. Eggman gave him his shoes. At least we found out where they came from.
He is really tough and beats the bullies on school.
And off school.
He also protects me from my big brother when he comes into my room.
Wait, so...
This is taking a turn.
Wow. We've just delved into some abuse that's going on in this family. Also, does that mean that not only is he creating a Sonic, but also he is in this universe?
Yeah, it's his
This
like
is his
imaginary
Sonic.
friend, yeah.
Okay. He was Sonic's friend, but now is a friend of Dr. Eggman.
Oh.
Because Sonic was too slow.
We're friends. Nah, you're too slow.
Nah, too slow. He was like, high five, too slow, not friends anymore, see you later. He likes to destroy things and set houses on fire. Jesus Christ. Mate, we've just discovered a fucking 12-year-old pyromaniac that really likes Dr. Eggman and gets abused by his brother. What the fuck?
Likes fire
Fire me, Doctor.
Dr. Eggman breaking things, setting things on fire, death killing, beating up bullies, and computers.
There's no commas, by the way. So
No.
I feel like this should be fire me, Dr. Eggman breaking things, setting things on fire, killing, beating up bullies and computers.
He hates
death killing, beating up bullies and computers. So he just punches
he beats
computers.
or does he like computers?
Or he beats them in races because they're very
Too
slow.
Hates my brother and bullies. He also hates Sonic now. And he also hates love and people.
He hates love and people. Do you know what I really hate? Love
and people.
and people.
So there's Will the Hedgehog. What a guy.
Mate, I don't think this could have gone better. That's so good. I'm so excited to see what Joe the Hedgehog is. All right, here we go. Right, so just get rid of the Will, and I'm typing. This is probably much better, by the way, if you're watching this. So if you're
make it a little
listening,
funny.
or if you're driving or something, then obviously watch this later. But we will try and describe it. Right then,
There's lots for Joe the Hedgehog.
there's loads of different ones, but none of them have a bio like yours did.
There's one.
Yes.
Or that one.
This one looks edgy as fuck. We're going with
Those
this
look
one.
Edgy.
Let me open it in another tab so we can see it properly.
It's got a watermark at the bottom just saying, "Do not steal."
We're not stealing. It literally just says, "Do not steal" in big capitals. But it's not like, it's not over anything. So you could just crop that out.
Yeah.
Okay. Name, Dark Edge Blood Sword. Mate, he's even got edge in his name.
Well
That is the edgiest. That's like if My Chemical Romance was a Sonic. And Bullet for My Valentine, like, combined. And we're like, how do we make a Sonic? Dark Edge Blood Sword.
His weapon is a soul katana. Its flames grow more. Its flames grow the more souls it claims.
That's quite cool. And the Soul Katana looks pretty sick in the drawing.
Joe the Hedgehog is Azora High.
Confirmed.
Sword.
Yeah, mate, he's got Lightbringer.
Favourite band.
Favourite band, Slipknot. Should have guessed.
Yeah.
It wasn't Bullet for My Valentine. Favourite movie, The Dark Knight. Can't get edgier.
I mean, yeah, let's get onto the bio though. This is the juicy bit.
I love the fact that it's not like his name is Dark Edge and then his last name's Bloodsword. His full first name without any spaces is Dark Edge Bloodsword. Dark Edge Bloodsword. Could we, like... I know we know where the words are. There's 4 words there, but could we like try and split the words up differently so we say it differently? Like Darked, Geblo,
Geblo,
Ood Sword.
Dark Geblo, Ood Sword.
Let's just call it Dark Edge Bloodsword because that's a lot to remember.
Yeah.
So Dark Edge Bloodsword, the Hedgehog, hates Sonic. We both hate Sonic.
They all just hate Sonic.
And his friends, and almost kills all of them.
Almost.
Full stop. Using their power of friendship.
Comma.
Full stop. Because, is it a comma?
That one's a comma.
Oh, okay. Using their power of friendship, Sonic convinces Dark Edge Bloodsword to turn his life around and fight the forces of evil with his killer katana and his cleats of pain. Mate, and he has got cleats on. Cleats of pain.
Cletus.
What should we call these cleats? Well, they do cause some pain if I stand on people. Do you think that's how he talks? Like he's smoked like 60 a day?
Yeah.
I'm Dark Edge Blood Sword.
I'm Dark to get blood sword.
Blue Oodsword.
Blow Ood sword.
Blow Oodsword. But he has no soul and cannot love. Mate, both of us hate love. Well, mine just cannot love.
Mine hates love and people.
And Sonic convinces mine to be good.
Yeah, but
so
not mine, because Sonic's
yours.
too slow.
Sonic's too slow. But he has no soul and cannot love, even though he desperately wants to.
Oh.
He is an orphan and vows to take revenge. Oh my god. His friend! Shaggy 2 Dope! What does that mean?
Shrek and PewDiePie.
They're like the people that he invites. Like, you know, when you talk about your celebrity dinner table
Yeah,
and stuff.
who would you invite to your dinner
Shrek,
party?
PewDiePie, and Shaggy 2 Dope. Huey.
Does he
Can
mean
I-
Shaggy and then is like a rapper, 2 Dope?
I'm gonna
Or
Google
who's
Shaggy
Shaggy
2
2
Dope. Shaggy 2 Dope's a person.
American rapper.
Oh, he wears masks and shit. He looks fucking crazy.
Yeah, fits in with the edgeness.
Yeah, he's an edgelord, definitely.
Shaggy 2 Dope.
Shaggy 2 Dope. Okay, enemies, Justin Bieber. Quote, my heart is a black tormented hole of emptiness. How are you?
How are you? That's a great Tinder bio.
I'm so using that. That's so edgy.
My heart is a black tormented hole of emptiness.
How are you?
Anyway, how are you?
Mate, I just can't get over the he also has no soul and cannot love, even though he desperately wants to.
Some of them are pretty deep, man.
That's so fucking dark.
Edgy. So if you want to find out your Sonic
Sona.
persona, Sonic Sona, just type your name in and then the hedgehog, and
Yeah.
you'll find they'll probably be quite similar to this, to be fair.
Yeah, they all.
But
This is basically the same as yours, just an edgier version.
It's quite funny.
It's so funny. I think that was so good. I think that's all of.
Yeah, I thought that was just going to be a little bonus reactions, but
Yeah.
it turned out to be a very good one, I think.
That was sick.
Hey.
Okay, well that brings us on to the end of the Fish Reactions podcast. Thank you very much for watching / listening. If you have listened this far, then please give us a review on iTunes. Give us a 5 stars.
Appreciate it, thank you.
And let us know what you like about it, and we'll read it out the next episode.
We will.
Yeah, no more Game of Thrones. So stick around for first reactions for lots of different things. We got a lot of stuff that we wanted to talk about. We wanted to make sure we got through Game of Thrones first.
Yeah.
So we got some conspiracy theories coming
yeah.
up. We've got. I want to do a whole episode just talking about Marvel things because I've got a lot of theories, and we've got a lot of tinfoil hat theories that we could do for that, which would be good. Loads of films coming up that I really want to talk about. John Wick 3 has just come out.
Yeah,
and
you told me
I've
about that
seen it.
yesterday.
You haven't, so I think it would be really good if you don't watch it. We do a review on that.
I need
That'd
to
be
watch
really
the
funny.
first two first, so
Yeah.
we've got time.
You watch the first two, then don't watch the third, and then we do a review on it. Perfect. Okay. So I think that's everything. Should we do the outro?
Let's do the outro.
It's the First Reaction Podcast. First Reactions Podcast.